You are now joining the meeting.
Big ego.
Hello, good morning. This is Derek. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Coach, knowing that we're minus Lauren since he's on the air, but let Coach make some opening comments, and then we'll take your questions on Ohio State.
Been on a little break, obviously. It's over, so to speak. So we're, I think, one game in 10 days, and just kind of the madness of the way the schedules work this year. But coming off a game that was a lot of positives, and I was pleased. I thought we sustained our defensive effort. I thought we played with some looseness, so to speak, and I mean that in a good way against Rutgers. That was needed. We got out and ran. We got some easy opportunities, and then we had tremendous balance. And I love the fact that we shared the ball. We probably missed another 5 or 6 opportunities for assist, just because we missed some easy shots. But all in all, it was we were pretty solid, and I was very pleased. And obviously Trent had a special moment there in the first half, which kind of broke that thing open and put a little distance out there, and then we maintained. So obviously getting ready for a very, very good Ohio State team, a very old team, a team that has a young man and a freshman in Wesson who's going to be a problem in this league for some time, to go along with veteran perimeter guys. They're a team that is probably has the MVP in the league in Kata Bates, and then Tate is a matchup problem as well. So this team is Chris has done an incredible job, and this is a very, very potent offensive team, and the numbers show that.
Brad, this is Mark. We've watched Bates Diop the last couple of years, kind of a reminder that we're not watching finished products in college basketball, I guess. But and he has certainly taken a huge step forward. What do you see from him now?
Well, he's a pro. You know, when you put experience and a maturity, you know, his body's matured a great deal. The physical attributes are scary because he's 6'7", 6'8". His wingspan, I have no idea what it is, but it's extremely long. And then you can tell there's a guy who's worked on his game. He's shooting it at a really high clip. He beats you off the bounce. He's a guy that can score in the post. So he's got a very defined game offensively, and very diverse. And there's no weaknesses. So you know, his body's developed and he's matured into a guy that is now playing with tremendous confidence. And Chris has done a great job of utilizing, you know, all of his tools. And again, you know, he's I think a fourth-year junior and 22 years old, and a guy that's plays that way.
Hey, Brad, Scott Ritchie. With these last 2 wins, is there a couple things you've seen that maybe have tied them together, and you know, maybe you see, you know, moving forward that this team can do consistently?
Well, I think offensively we've played better basketball. You know, I think even prior to the 2 wins, we were doing some things well. We did some things well in the Michigan State loss. I think our effort. There was a few moments in the segments in the Indiana game in the first half where we weren't great defensively, but I think we've become much more consistent there. I think we fouled less in those games. I think that we've still been able to do that with our pressure and being able to force turnovers and convert. Our points under 7 seconds are way up. So, you know, that's a tribute to our defense. But all in all, I think we're running better offense when we have to run it. We're executing better, and guys are starting to understand what we're trying to do. And you know, when there's an understanding, then you've got the ability to have some confidence in making shots. And you know, we got to continue to do that. Every night's a new night. But I've been pleased with those areas here in the last, you know, 4 or 5 games. But the last 2 wins have helped helped us mentally, maybe as much as anything. Quiet morning for you media guys, man. must be up and at 'em too early. So, man.
Brad, I got another one for you.
Yep.
Just with Mark Smith, was the Rutgers game good for him just to maybe get some consistent playing time on the court there in the second half where he could just maybe get into the flow of the game?
Yeah, well, he took a great jolt. I guess that's the right word, or a smack, whatever you want to call it, in the eye. And you know, they took him back to the locker room, and he had blurred vision. And you know, I'm never going to put a young man out there until he's you know, kind of got everything back to functioning right. And but yeah, late in the game, it was good. You know, Mark has been so good in practice. And he needs to see that transfer to the court. And you made great pass to Mike. You know, I think it's you know, for him it's just a little bit. He needs to regain some of that confidence and some of that swagger. So leaving him out there was good. And then, you know, he's still continuing to get better every day. And you know, on the defensive side. And I've been really pleased with Mark's, you know, with his play and his you know, his work ethic is off the charts. So he's going to be fine. But yeah, I think that was important for him to get some extended minutes.
Let me just ask one about Wesson. You mentioned him, that he's going to be a problem for people for a while. What do you see from him, Brad, as you look at him as a freshman that's averaging in double figures?
He's a facilitator. He's probably you know, I think there's one thing with big guys, and you know, he's transformed his body a great deal already. As that continues to develop even further, you'll see a young man become a better athlete, and he's a good athlete already. He's light on his feet for a guy his size. But I love guys who can facilitate offense, and when they can do that from the interior, man, it's really hard to guard. You have a lot of decisions to make as a coaching staff and how you're going to guard that. And he can score. He goes over either shoulder, which is very rare for a young kid. And then, you know, they're averaging about 33, 34 points in the paint, but that doesn't count what he facilitates by throwing the ball into him and him passing it out. And he's a very good passer. His IQ, you can tell, is extremely high. And personally, I'm a huge fan of that, and his ability to pass and make plays. And good player. He's a good player, and he's in the right mix because he's playing with a lot of veterans that can make baskets and have been around. So he's benefiting from that as well.
And Brad, you kind of mentioned at the top the the strangeness of the schedule with just the one game in 10 days. But I mean, I guess is that? I mean, at this point in the season, how do you, approach that? I mean, it gives you more time in practice, I guess, but also, I mean, there's something to be said for game reps, and then you've got like 5 games in 2 weeks to end this month. I mean, is that going to help that stretch finish, or?
I think we got 4 games in 1 week at the end, so I don't know. I take a lot of pride. My teams in the past have always been very, very good in the month of February and March, and we still practice. We're still getting after. We're not doing anything much different now. We play 10 guys. You look at our minutes the other night in the Rutgers game, and I think Trent played 17 or 18 or whatever it was, and we can use that to our benefit. So we practice. We're still working every day to get better, and that gets a little harder, obviously, when you've got all the one-day preps that we have. But we're going to continue to be who we are and do what we do, and it was probably more beneficial to our staff because we could go out and recruit a little bit and see some kids and during these breaks. But we've been able to try to keep our guys pretty fresh as well, and that's something that middle of conference play is not always a bad thing.
Hey, Coach, it's Derek Piper. What is maybe stringing 2 wins in a row done for your team in terms of approach and mindset, particularly in practice?
Well, I think we're in the best spirits we've been in, and I think that's a tribute to them. I think, sure, winning cures a lot of ills, but I think they also know that we're playing better, that we're doing better, we're doing things on a more consistent basis, and with that comes some confidence. Winning brings that. I don't think anybody saw the Rutgers game coming. I didn't, and that was kind of like the Wisconsin game the other way. I didn't see that one coming either. So, but I think there's a tremendous amount of confidence that comes from doing things right and doing things on a more consistent basis, and this team's starting to do those things. And like I said, if we can make shots, and I think we're turning teams over a good lick. If we can continue to make shots, then we've got a whole nother level to go to. We get AJ and Mark Smith and DeMonte and get some of those guys, Michael more consistent. We get those guys making shots, and we've got a whole nother level to go to.
Is that all for Coach?
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay.